Welcome to In Pursuit of Truth. This is your host, Sir Patrick Mack. Ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at live footage of Q dropping some posts today. And of course, I've also got accompanying footage of me waking up 22 posts down.
No! God, please, no! No!
It's all good though. A cup of coffee and I'm rolling into work like this. No, I'm good. I just needed to stretch the hammies a little bit. All right, look. Yesterday, we reached 40,000 subscribers. I want to thank all of you who've been liking my videos and sharing my videos and offering up your comments and your witticisms and your criticisms. I really appreciate it. If you are new to my channel, thanks so much for joining me. We celebrate every little milestone around here with cake. And we got a 40 cake right here. Look at this. It's my favorite color, blue, and it's got stars on it. And in the middle, it seems to be exploding with what looks like packing foam, but it's not packing foam. They're freedom pellets. There's sugary freedom pellets, and you can eat them because it's my cake and I make the rules. So grab yourself a piece of cake, sit down, say hello to your neighbor. Never mind the fact that it says happy birthday Darren in the foreground. That's just an error that they made. They were supposed to say happy 40,000 subscribers, Sir Patrick Mack, but it didn't work out like that. Anyway, enjoy some cake. Let's get on with some Q. Post 2126, 39 minutes after the hour of 11 a.m., we get this JPEG entitled YVC, Your Vote Counts, Voter Registration Election Day JPEG. And it shows a little button here. I think you get a sticker when you vote, but it'd be cool if you got a button. We will do our job to protect the vote. Will you do yours? Fight, fight, fight. Yeah, it just looks like a reminder from Q that they're doing everything on their end. And we need to participate at the very least on our end and make sure that that red wave happens, right? And I wanted to let you know, incidentally, I searched this number here on the Googly search and came up with these two books here. Memoirs of the Communist Infiltration into the Church. No one will read this book without a profound assent that something, just like what is describer here, must surely have happened on a wide scale in order to have disrupted the life of the Catholic Church so dramatically. And the other one is entitled Unveiling the Apocalypse by Mr. Emmett O'Regan. Throughout the course of this book, we will be considering the importance of various private revelations and the nature of their relationship with the eschatology of the book of Revelation. So that is if you Googly search into the book section with that number stringer right there. Just saying. All right. So get on out and vote. If you're voting in your area, let us know how it goes, and we are going to move on. Post 2127, 14 minutes after the hour of 12 Eastern Standard Time, Q takes us back to this previous post back in December. And this was when the Saudi purge was going on. Saudi Arabia controlled U.S. puppets. Strings cut, meaning their funding was cut. Democrats dropping all around over sexual misconduct. That's the first stage. Coincidence? Directly after SA? Don't you realize that the war has gone public? List who will not be running for re-election. Well, remember, they did a little sword dance out there in Saudi Arabia, right? They had made the war public. And then all of a sudden we got all these people stepping down, not running for re-election. And you can go back and look at those lists. They're all over the Q posts. Coincidence? Not at all. That was phase one, getting them to just either step down or move aside, essentially. Easy to swallow. Loss of power / influence. Good time to prosecute. Just wait until next week. You were all patriots. Okay, so that was back in December. Q adds on. Why are powerful, influential people resigning due to past sexual misconduct allegations? Why are these allegations now surfacing? 10-month span in brackets. Why now? Well, we just had Les Moonves, who I still think is going to be a really, really big deal. I have a feeling it's going to connect to this NXIVM thing. I still think we're going to find out a lot more regarding NXIVM. Probably Weinstein too, but I think NXIVM in particular to see how big this really, really is going. Now, I wanted to mention also this Alibaba CEO stepped down too. Now, it's not under any kind of sexual allegations or anything like that, but I just found it very, very interesting. I'm not sure if we'll find something out, maybe completely unrelated, but I wanted to note that that was a recent one too. We also had one of the top Chinese monks step down, and that was over sexual misconduct allegations, as well as this CEO, Jack Liu, out there in China. So it looks like this is connected all over the world. Q says human trafficking arrests up. Indeed, they are. Saudi Arabia cooperating. It seems like that's the case. It's hard to know, to what extent, but it does seem like they are really, really trying to work on some reform out there, which is a good thing. NXIVM. Now, Nexium is, like I said, this is the thing that blows it wide open, because I think this is where we're going to find the worldwide connections. And whether it was Nexium and only Nexium, or if it was other branches like Nexium, we do know that this was a very sophisticated human trafficking system that they had set up all over the world. Q says, when does a bird sing? Eyes wide open. Well, there's a few different references I suppose we could make there, and a lot of people have great answers. I always thought a bird sings when they're caged. Now, I mentioned the other day too, my thoughts are still kind of leaning towards the fact that this bird may very well be this big bird satellite that's tweeting everyone's whether it's their locations or their communications or whatever it might be. It might have something to do with that. But I also do think this Allison Mack, as well as others that were involved in this Nexium, are very, very likely singing. We know Allison Mack was, right? So they're talking, they're letting people know what's up. Q says eyes wide open. I have a feeling that's also a reference to the movie, of course, Eyes Wide Shut, with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. And we all kind of know what that movie was about, all sorts of crazy satanic rituals and Illuminati type parties and things like that going on. It's a really, really big deal, and this stuff needs to start coming to light. Now, Q leaves us this link right here, and this is from back in March of 2018. President Donald J. Trump is working to end human trafficking. My administration will focus on ending the absolutely horrific practice of human trafficking, and I am prepared to bring the full force and weight of our government, whatever we can do in order to solve this horrific problem. And it seems to be the case. It seems to be working out that way. Now, I'll let you read this here, but I just want to turn you on to the very bottom here, where it really talks about the international aspect of this. In February 2017, the president signed Executive Order 13773 enforcing federal law with respect to transnational criminal organizations and preventing international trafficking. So I think that's probably where Q is wanting to train our eye towards. Q says, coincidence? I think not. Network being dismantled, sheep no more. Q. Well, these are always good things to hear, and of course we want to see those big names go down as soon as possible. But if you really, really look at over the course of the 10-month span that we're talking about here, it's been an amazing number of arrests. And there's a little graphic there to show you, just kind of give you an idea of what's literally going on. And this is a big deal. These are our children that we're talking about. So it's a fantastic thing to know, and it looks like we've got more big bombs coming. Let's move on for now. Post 2128, 41 minutes after the hour of 12. Q says declassification of FISA will initiate the resignation/recusal and or removal of Rod Rosenstein. Okay, so Rod Rose got to go at some point, right? Now, if removing him would have been the smartest thing, I think we would have done that long ago, right? Why keep banging our heads against the wall with Rod Rowe if we were just able to remove him? So I don't think that's what we're looking for. I think the whole purpose of the declassification of FISA is to force the wheels to come off the bus while Rod Rowe is still driving. And I've been saying this all along. This is the only way to really make it look like a true win. Rod Rowe has got to be the one to raise President Trump's hand in victory. And so if Rod Rowe either resigns or recuses himself, that will show that this is not a political witch hunt, and that's what has to happen. But at the same time, we're getting close to midterms, right?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
That's what I'm saying. So it looks to me like, although we're still waiting for this Whopper with cheese to drop, it's going to have to drop at an appropriate moment very, very soon. Well, the declassification of FISA will initiate the awareness that all signers will be currently under investigation. There's another good point. We already know about McCabe. We know about Rosenstein. We know about Comey. These guys are under investigation. And Q says here, signers will be, excuse me, but in brackets, Q says currently. So I think we can gather that this has been going on already. And maybe along with not only just dropping the FISA, maybe we'll drop our findings as well. Declassification of FISA will factually demonstrate without argument the U.S. government under Hussein knowingly presented false evidence to FISA court in an effort to obtain illegal U.S. intelligence umbrella surveillance of POTUS, the identified target, for the sole purpose of influencing the 2016 election of the presidency. You guys all understand that part so far, right? So, and then in brackets here it says not Russia, but Hussein, Hillary Rodham Clinton. And that is their projection. That's why they're projecting the Russian narrative, because they know the Russian narrative leads back to them. Safeguard against possible loss of power. Well, they're already losing that, aren't they? They're losing it left and right. And it looks like their firewalls are coming down, whether it be Comey, whether it be McCabe, whether it be Priestap. Use of back channel surveillance, spy insertion, body 1, 2, and 5. Now, this could be a physical body because they did physically insert spies. I'm also wondering if it could be just referring to part of the Five Eyes, being the US, UK, and Australia. And it says here by UK/Australia, primary activated under direction of Brennan and Clapper, with the presidential daily brief regular updates. Live streaming, White House Hussein non-oval situation room. Remember, Hussein built that special little situation room in the White House. It was a special little room. Nobody really knew much about it, and they were probably just sitting over there, drinking their snarky tea, listening into everything that was going on over at Trump Towers. That was all until they were warned. And look, it looks like we've got all the proof. We're just waiting for it to drop.
Nothing is impossible.
That's what I'm saying. All been coordinated. Well, this FISA clearly is going to be the definitive thing that brings the whole house down. We're talking about the House. We're talking about the White House. We're talking about the White House staff. We are talking about the whole Obama administration. The Whopper with cheese, extra bacon, supersize that. That's what's going to drop. And I have a feeling this isn't just so much for our review. I think Q is speaking to the deep state right now, letting them know exactly how this is going to go down for them. Let's move on. Post 2129, posted 35 minutes after the hour of 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We get this Twitter link here, and it takes you to Bill Mitchell's Twitter. And he advertises, tonight on Your Voice, Steel Truth and Vandersteel continues to expose the deep state with an exclusive interview with Bill Binney, former technical director at NSA. This is explosive reporting, folks. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Your Voice America TV. So we've got this Ann Vandersteel, and she's part of that Report to the President website thing that's been going on, that a lot of us have kind of been scratching our heads about, trying to figure what's going on. Is this a white hat stuff? Is this gray hat stuff? What's going on? We've got an interview with Bill Binney. This is just a 1 minute and 24-second video. I'm not going to play it for you because I don't want to get hit with copyright. But basically, she's asking Bill Binney about, who's the deep state knucklehead that we should be paying attention to. We've got, of course, Comey and McCabe and, all these guys. And Binney points out that it's Rosenstein. Rosenstein is where a lot of this really focuses on, in his opinion, because he's the one who signed off on the FISA. So that was just a small little clip. It seems pretty on the up and up to me. Bill Mitchell seems also on the up and up to me. I don't know this Ann Vandersteel very well. I don't know this site very well. I don't know this show Your Voice very well. But all I can say is that I don't see any red flags in this particular post. And Q, I think, is actually making a different point here with the timestamp. So remember, please, that this comes in at 2:35 Eastern Standard Time. Let's move on to the next post. Q adds on in post 2130, 39 minutes after the hour of 2, 4 minutes later, this tweet from Donald Trump status, and we see this 0 minutes, 0 seconds in brackets Q. And we're talking about this status here, where Donald Trump says, the storms in the Atlantic are very dangerous. We encourage anyone in the path of these storms to prepare themselves and to heed the warnings of state and local officials. The federal government is closely monitoring and ready to assist. We are with you. Yeah, please stay safe. That thing looks really gnarly. But you'll see that this post is at 12:35 p.m. Now, this is coming in from a different time zone, which suggests to me that this came in at the exact time, and I think that's what Q is alluding to, and we'll talk about that in a couple future posts here. But that's what Q is saying, that this came in at the same time, basically referring to this post 2129 coming in at the same time as Donald Trump's tweet, but in different time zones. Let's move on to 2131. We get this Sarah Carter article. And because it's hard to say Sarah A. Carter article, I'm going to call it a scarticle. Let's look at it. Dated today, new texts reveal FBI leaked information to the press to damage Trump. Newly released text messages and documents obtained by the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee reveal that senior members of the FBI and Department of Justice led a coordinated effort to leak unverified information to the press regarding alleged collusion with Russia to damage President Donald Trump's administration, according to a letter sent by the committee to the DOJ Monday. Representative Mark Meadows of North Carolina sent the letter to Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, saying a review of the new documents raises grave concerns regarding an apparent systemic culture of media leaking by high-ranking officials at the FBI and DOJ related to ongoing investigations. The review of the documents suggests that the FBI and DOJ coordinated efforts to get information to the press that would potentially be harmful to President Trump's administration. Those leaks pertain to information regarding the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court warrant used to spy on short-term campaign volunteer Carter Page. And the letter they're talking about is this right here, addressed to Mr. Rosenstein as of September 10th. Let's take a look at it. This message here. We have this on April 10th, 2017. Peter Strzok contacts Lisa Page to discuss a media leak strategy. Specifically, the text said, I had literally just gone to find this phone to tell you I want to talk to you about media leak strategy with DOJ before you go.
You are really dumb. For real.
Yeah, dude, that is so dumb. Look, you're saying that you didn't leak, but here you got a strategy for it, and you titled it the media leak strategy, which leads us to think that you might be using that strategy to leak to the media. Hence the name. April 12, 2017, Peter Strzok congratulates Lisa Page on a job well done while referring to 2 derogatory articles about Carter Page. In the text, Strzok warns Page 2 articles are coming out, one which is worse than the other about Lisa's namesake. Strzok added, well done, Page. While these 2 text messages alone are troubling enough, events surrounding these interactions call the motives of the investigative team into question. And then so it goes on to talk about who they really want to start talking to. And I'll read you this last paragraph here. In light of the new information, our task force is requesting to review text messages, emails, and written communication from FBI and DOJ officials Stu Evans, Mike Cortan, and Joe Pientka between June 2016 to June 2017. To be clear, we are not suggesting wrongdoing on the part of Evans, Cortan, and Pientka. And in fact, previously reviewed documents suggest that some of these individuals may share the committee's same concerns. However, these additional documents, with an emphasis on communication between the aforementioned individuals and Peter Strzok, Andrew McCabe, Lisa Page, Bruce Orr, and Andrew Weissman, would provide critical insight into the backdrop of the Russia investigation. Your attention to the matter is greatly appreciated, and you can see this is CC to the Honorable Bob Goodlatte and Trey Gowdy. And this is from Mark Meadows. How about that?
Catch me outside. How about that?
Yeah, how about that? Well, thanks to Sarah Carter for breaking some more texts out to the public. It looks like those 2 were probably enough, but it looks like there's going to be more, and the ball has already been rolling. I think that's the exciting part, is that we're sort of treating it as if it's beginning to roll. But the fact of the matter is that we've had grand juries going on for quite a while, and I have a feeling that the news is just going to get better and better, as it seems to be over the weeks. So buckle up, buttercups. It's about to get bumpy. I've never heard that before. Post 21:32, 27 minutes after the hour of 3 p.m. Q is basically confirming an Anon about the previous timestamp, and then we'll show a proof of it in a minute here. We got it covered over some Q posts. Let's move on to 21:33, 32 minutes after the hour of 3 p.m. And Anon says, buckle up, buttercups. It's about to get bumpy. That's where I heard it from. I heard it from this Anon, and he's saluting, giving a little salute there. And so I'm saluting back, except it's in slow motion and really dramatic. There we go. 21:34, 49 minutes after the hour of 3 p.m. Think DOJ/FBI classified leaks to fake news. Insert into FISA app in effort to provide new sources. Yeah, it's kind of cyclical, right? Number 198, 9718. And then we have today in brackets and a link back to this letter here that Sarah Carter provided. A Q is referring to post number 198 over here on Patriots Fight. And just so you know, it looks like it's 56 minutes after midnight here. And for me, that would have already been on the 8th. So Q was saying on the 7th. It would have been on the 7th where they posted it. So we get this preview of the FISA, basically FISA. We know all about this FISA, right? Q posted this the other day. as a preview of likely what was to come, who signed all these pages. Okay, and we're starting to see that already. I would assume it looks like all these people who have been signing these pages very well may have grand juries already running. We know this about McCabe and Rosenstein and Comey. So we may find the same thing about Buente and Yates. Now, we know who used the false intelligence, basically how it funded the fake dossier, and how Brennan and Clapper used this to basically authenticate not only to the news, but to the presidential daily briefings too. So that would lead all the way up to President Obama. We know this, right? This was the preview, okay? And then Q says, today here in brackets, review of the new documents raised grave concerns regarding an apparent systemic culture of media leaking by high-ranking officials at the FBI and DOJ related to ongoing investigations. And then it takes us to that letter again, okay? And that's this right here. So the preview set us up for the show, and this is part of the show now. And we're in just the beginning acts. We only see these two new communications. But this is part of that D-class, right? This is more stuff getting out. And this is the way the media loves to do it, good or bad. We dump it all at once. We're still going to have to go through it. So this makes it a little bit more tangible for us. And we're seeing some really, really important ones in these particular two communications. We see, look, they have a media leak strategy. I'm not really sure how you're going to defend that. It's a media leak strategy. We talked about that, right? So the preview set us up, and Q was letting us know that this is exactly what's going on today, and it's going down now. The D-class may not happen in this one fell swoop that we're looking for. It's going to happen every single day, little bit by bit by bit, until it becomes so damning. And this is pretty damning because just these two communications alone really state not nebulous ideas. It's very clear what the intention is here. So you see what's up. Looks to me like Rod Roe's number really has been called at this point. I don't know how Rod Roe could make it through this next wave, but it remains to be seen. Let's move on to 2135. 2 minutes after the hour of 4 p.m., Q takes us back to the September 9th post from the other day. How do you know when something very big is about to drop? Because attacks increase from all directions. Ready the memes, FISA corruption. You have more than you know. Keep up the good fight. We stand together. Okay, so Q's calling for some memes regarding the FISA corruption. That's what Q wants to see. Graphics and memes. And then Q goes on to give us a massive sample. Probably some fodder for such graphics and memes they'd like us to make. Well, let's take a look at a few of these here. From Fox News, Maxine Waters goes on Trump. Impeachment terror, vows to get him. My goodness. Just look at this one right here. Yikes. That's an evil looking woman right there. I want to follow her and just be like, you little dog too. Shh. Dem leaders don't want to say impeach. Bill Clinton's case explains why. Yeah. Big secret, huh? You're going to stealthily get him while you put it on the headline of NBC News. Good job. From The Atlantic, the Democrat who could lead Trump's impeachment isn't sure it's warranted. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you once again the Democratic Party. Can't seem to figure out their ass from their elbow, but they're really, really worried about making sure that President Trump gets impeached. It's all they got. And it looks to me like the FISA memes are going to get fired up, and Q's going to drop that D-class, because right now just the word D-class has sent them into waves and waves of media. So imagine what the actual D-class will do. Let's move on. Post 2136, 12 minutes after the hour of 4 p.m., an Anon makes a graphic regarding these timestamp proofs here. Okay, the Anon says, here, no POTUS tweet today, yet. Q, how about a 0 delta to encourage Anons? And what this Anon is asking for some sort of proof in which two things happen with no seconds in between, being the 0 delta. No seconds in between of them happening. They happen simultaneously. That's what this Anon is asking for at 1:15. Okay. Now, what this does here, this graphic, it links these two posts. This particular post, 2129, the post itself, and the Twitter status that was posted by Donald Trump. This is where Q is talking about 0 seconds in between. Okay, so those are the two issues that we're talking about. Now, in the graphic, you see that this was posted at 2:35. And there was this Twitter link. And then you see the Donald Trump tweet that we read was at 12:35. So we have the minutes right, but not the hours, right? Or do we? Are we in the right time zone? Now, in the next post, this is just responding to an Anon, 21:37, 23 minutes after the hour of 4 p.m. And Anon says, battle station's ready. Where we go one, we go all. Q says, we are with you. And says, where we go one, we go all. Now we go back into this timestamp thing again, 21:38, 46 minutes after the hour of 4 p.m. Q is asking to update this graphic over here because it's showing two time zones. Okay, Q wants people to understand that it's still at the same time. Update requested. There were 0 seconds delta in between. And we see an example of that now, updated in 21:39, 53 minutes after the hour of 4 p.m. And Anon catches on. And now, because everyone's in different time zones, this can be difficult because we all read different posts at different times. But this particular Anon, who titles the picture 0 Delta, shows that in their time zone, Donald Trump tweet comes at 3:35 p.m. That's EDT, daylight time. You guys need daylight time. Urgh! All right. And down here, you see it an hour before at 2:35. So it just depends on what time zone you're in. But over here on the right is where it gets cleared up. You can see that the post here in daylight time is 3:35, same time as the tweet. So the Q post, the Trump tweet, happened at 3:35 Eastern Daylight Time at the very same moment. But they would have had to come from different devices. Well, who do you know that would do such a thing on two separate devices? And that's the gotcha Q that this Anon was going for. Q says Anons catch it all. 2 devices used. 1 carrier pushed exactly at the same time. Now there's a 10-second variance. Says lag, device lag, or feeder site delay. Q says makes sense. Look, 10 seconds. If you're worried about 10 seconds, you're really splitting hairs here. But Q says request fulfilled, and they were talking about the Anon's request back here to do a 0 delta to encourage Anon. So I hope that makes sense for you. It should make sense. Essentially, it's another Q proof. But what's important here, and we're going to speak a little bit more about this in the future posts here, is that what Q is doing here is sort of an exercise with Anons in teaching us how we can make very clear Q proofs. This is for some of you who are newer to Q. These graphics and these memes, if you're talented at doing these things, Q really loves these kind of proofs because these are the things that help red pill more people, if you will. So let's move on to the next post, 21:40. 57 minutes after the hour of 4 p.m. And Anon says the link post must be added to the graphic. Request fulfilled. Yeah, they're trying to sort of refine the system. Q says make it and they will crumb. Q. 21:41. 3 minutes after the hour of 5 p.m. And Anon posts this. God wins with President Trump there. It's a pretty cool little picture. That's a perfect proof, guys. Request heard, delivered, no coincidences. Thank you for doing that, Q. And then we get this another Anon who says anyone that complained about a 10-second delta, meaning a 10-second lag, would have complained about a 10-millisecond delta. Obvious answer was lag. Thank you. Where we go one, we go all. Q. And Q is referring to both of these Anons here, saying we thank you. Shills only shill. Patriots win. Let's move on to this post. 21:42. 5 minutes after the hour of 5 p.m., an Anon kind of gets it all laid out here, explaining exactly what's going on and that this was essentially pressed at the same time. So it's essentially just refining this meme until it really speaks very clearly so that people can grab it and understand it much better. So if you're going to borrow a meme, this would be the one, updated to show the Anon's post, and Q confirms. Let's move on. Post 21:43, 15 minutes after the hour of 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, an Anon makes this really cool graphic from the Band of Brothers poster. There was a time when the world asked ordinary men to do extraordinary things. Band of Anons. I like it. We serve at the pleasure of the president. And this Anon posts this to a Reddit link. And this is really cool too. In a world where nothing is quite what it seems. One man chooses to stand alone against a sea of deep state knuckleheads, full of deception and intrigue. From the makers of Tarmac comes FISA-gate. Very cool. Super cool. I love Reddit. Cracks me up. Q says, hooah! And responding to the second Anon, Oscar Worthy. Well, I don't know about Oscar Worthy, but I sure hope Christopher Walken's in the movie. And if you do make the movie, I'd like to just toss my hat in the ring for narrator at least, huh? What do you think? Let's move on. Post 2144. 9 minutes after the hour of 6 p.m., we get these two Twitter links right here. Q says, nothing to see here. One takes you to the New York Post. A study has found drinking young people's blood could help you live longer and prevent age-related diseases. All right, well, this article actually talks a little bit about studies regarding injecting blood, a little bit about drinking it, but mostly the studies involving injecting blood, but still very, very creepy. And we get this from Sky News. Drinking young blood could prevent age-related diseases, study reveals. And this is from the 8th of September. The other one was from the 10th of September. Well, I think you can see what's going on. They're trying to normalize more ridiculous behavior. And this is how they do everything. They always try to introduce it as healthy for you or good for the environment or whatever it might be, whatever positive spin they can put it on. And they're going to get a whole bunch of so-called scientists that are going to show you all the benefits of this and this and that. All they're really trying to do is normalize their behavior for when this all pops and shows them to be a bunch of vampiric Satanist knuckleheads that maybe will be a little bit more accepting of them. Well, no go. Guess what? A new study has found that if you touch our children, your age-related diseases are going to come a lot quicker than you think. Nothing to see here? I don't think so. Let's move on to the next post. 2145, 23 minutes after the hour, 6 p.m. We get this Twitter status of this Thorlock who made this cool little GIF right here. Very sweet. I may just jack that. Q says, prepare your memes. Non-NSA tech today cannot read filter. Okay, so as you can see, Q's been talking about memes this whole time, right? It's very, very important, and this is why. Because, as you know, all the shadow banning that's going on, videos are getting banned, emails are getting banned, tweets and texts and Facebook and whatever kind of public posts that you make, they're all getting banned, right? However, the non-NSA tech cannot scan the memes. Memes are the really, really important things. You can say it, you can put it in a picture, you can put it in a graphic. You want to tell as much of a story that you can in as little of effort as you can so that we can really get our message out. And this is a good time, and Q is letting us know now that the banning and the blocking is really probably going to intensify. So we need to prepare those memes and get those ready to say exactly what we want to say, especially in regards to FISA. All right, let's move on. Q adds on in post 2146, 25 minutes after the hour of 6 p.m. Attention on deck. Battle stations. Memes at the ready. Where we go one, we go all. Q. All right, well, look, for those of you who don't know, attention on deck means you stand the hell up. Pay attention. Stand by to stand by. Man your battle stations. That means you got your gear on and you're squared away and ready to go. Memes at the ready. Remember, Q said non-NSA tech today cannot read or filter. So this is a great time to fire a massive MAGA volley, right? And that's what Q is calling us to do. Q is not encouraging us to do it. Q is flat out banging the war drum, right? Ready to go. Time to play some offense. Man your battle stations. So get those memes ready if you are the creative types. I will set up for those of you who follow me on Twitter, I'll set up a thread and you guys can post your memes right there. I'll probably make a few myself and we can just start a thread and I'll be a bunch of tweet plucking ninjas off of that thread. Let's move on to 2147. 30 minutes after the hour of 6 p.m. Q adds on with this picture right here entitled simply 9/11. We will never forget. We will never forgive. Well, I am sure you all have incredible stories of how you remember this event. I most certainly will never forget. I'm not so sure that I'm ever going to forgive, at least some people. Plain and simple, I don't ever want to see this kind of thing again. All right. I don't want to see any more memorials commemorating things that we wish would never happen. All right. I want to erect monuments to things that we achieved and things that we can celebrate together. I don't want to see any of this anymore. And I'm never going to forget. And this was a very important moment in my life because I started kind of alternate media really shortly after this. So this was a big turning point in my life and in my pursuit for truth. So make your memes, fire up, let's get hungry. No better day like today to celebrate life, to celebrate freedom, and to make sure that things like this never happen again. Ladies and gentlemen, those are your Q posts. As always, if you like this video, please click like, share, and subscribe. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Please keep in mind that from time to time, CEO of YouTube, Susan Wojcicki, will creep in the office late at night. She will seek out your subscription and she'll unclick you. All right, she might not do it personally, but that's the way I like to think about it, and it makes me super angry. Like, yeah, like angry like that. All right, kids, that's all I got for you today. I am on Gab, I'm on BitChute, I'm on Real.Video. All those links are down below. You can find me at Twitter. Please join me at Twitter. I'm going to start a thread over there at IPOT 1776. That's at IPOT 1776. And my email, my Patreon, all that stuff is down below if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks so much, guys. Enjoy your day. Be safe today on this 9/11. And until next time, stay hungry.